All right, peace and blessings, family. Thank you for tuning in to Earth Mama Live. Tonight we are talking to a gentleman who is running for city council in the city of Sacramento in District 2. His name is Sean Lolo Lee.
Lolo E.
Lolo E. Just the E by itself. Okay,
Yes.
I'll try to stretch that E. Lolo E. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and thank you very much for having me tonight.
So where is District 2?
District 2 is better known as North Sacramento.
Okay.
So it starts from Arden, goes down all the way to Northgate, the Levee, and on the east side of it is where the river is. So it's fairly a pretty large district.
Okay. So what made you run for city council?
Great question. I'm a local small business owner in District 2. Been there since approximately 2009 and opened one of the first supermarkets in that district. And then in 2015, on Marysville Boulevard, which was considered a food desert area, I opened our second location. And on both locations, I decided that this is something I want to do based on my own financial means. Even though there were grants and other venues available, but I thought those need to be used better for what the community needs versus me opening a business. So I was very proud to open two full supermarkets selling fresh product, fresh meat, natural meat, fresh produce to the community.
So let me back up a little bit because I want to get to know who you are. Lolo
E.
Lolo E. I'm gonna
Yes.
get that down. Lolo E. Lolo. That's very simple. Who are you?
So born and raised, born in Iran, a country in Middle East. Myself and my family, we migrated to United States in the mid 80s. So I came here as an immigrant, didn't speak a word of English. And through hard work and seeing my father with his principles and moralities, were and integrity, which was infused within me as well, understood that this is the land of opportunity, and you have to work hard for it and to achieve it. And that was pretty much the platform that we practice in our household. That nothing comes in easy. You work hard and achieve it. I was blessed enough to go to grade school. Went to UC Riverside University. Got my bachelor's degrees in biology, minored in psychology, at which point I wanted to kind of see what dad is doing in the world of business, and I fell in love with it. And getting accepted to medical school and deciding that I want to do business instead of medicine was something that initially my father was not too happy about. But then when he saw my dedication and hard work, he knew that there's a reason that I made a decision, and it wasn't something that just came to me overnight that I don't want to go to medical school.
What made y'all choose the North area? Did you grow up in that particular area, District 2?
No. So originally when we moved here, we went to Southern California, Riverside County actually, and then we moved to Los Angeles. When I got in the world of business, I started having stores like Viva Supermarkets in Los Angeles, and I was able to expand that operation to approximately 9 stores, which then 2 of the large chains within the country, they became interested in my operation, and they made me an offer to purchase the business. And I was in my mid-30s. I thought, okay, I'm done. Here comes retirement. But then I realized that I can't stand golf. It drives me crazy. And I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, and if I don't have a purpose, it's going to drive me nuts. Ironically, right around that time, I received a call from City of Oakland saying that your name was given to us by 2 of the largest wholesalers in the nation as an independent operator. We have a site in an area better known as West Oakland, Well, we can't get any operators in there. Would you be interested? My first question was, well, with all due respect, where is Oakland? So well, we're on the other side of San Francisco. I said, great. Well, I'm in LA, and I'm not too familiar with Northern California, but not at this time. But thank you very much for reaching out to me. A week later, I received a call from, at that time, Mayor Jerry Brown himself directly inviting me to Oakland, which I graciously accepted. Came to Oakland, saw the site. I spent the weekend and literally walked around West Oakland and on Monday I reached out to Mayor Brown and I said, I think it's going to be a great site. I can't wait till we open up a store here. And that's how I made the move to Northern California. Okay. In West Oakland, I opened a store, which I'm very proud to say. It was in an environment that for the past 30 years, there was no store. This store was named as one of the most beautiful stores in the Bay Area.
Wow.
And I was so involved with the community that initially I had people saying, oh, this is going to be the biggest mistake you made. At that time, Oakland, a great city, but West Oakland had a very high homicide rate. 70% of that was within a 3-mile radius of this store. But I fell in love with the community because every day that I was there during the constructions, I would meet the people and I would realize that this is a phenomenal community. The press, the media is just concentrated on the negatives, but there's so much positive that's going on. So we opened the store. We hired 100% from the community. It was, as I said, it was named as one of the most beautiful stores in the Bay Area. In fact, from Sacramento Bee to San Francisco Chronicle to San Jose Mercury, they did a full story, and I was very proud of our accomplishment. I sold that store, and I was called from one of the wholesalers about Sacramento and Norwood Avenue, that we could put in a store. I came, I saw the district, the area. Again, meeting the people, those 3 or 4 days that I was there, I felt the passion and the love, and I said, this is a no-brainer, I'm in. And we opened our first store on Norwood Avenue, and it was in 2009, 2010, and then we opened our second store in North Sacramento in 2015.
Okay, so that's how you got to Sacramento,
yes,
particularly the North area.
Yes.
So when running for office, what is your platform?
Right. So running for office, my platform is, we have a major epidemic, which is with the homeless issue that we have.
We do.
Education, after-school program, and infrastructure. These are issues that are completely missed in our community and have been overlooked for years and years. And to this day, I haven't seen any significant solution. Okay. And that's what made me decide to put my name into this race. Of course, I reached out to about 5 or 6 different community leaders, sharing my frustration with them. 5 different pastors who are also very embedded within the community, sharing my frustration, and also 3 city officials. And they all said one thing. They said, well, if you're so frustrated, why don't you run? And I asked them, I said, do you think I would be the right person? And the answer was 100% positive that if anybody can do it, it's gonna be you. And that's when I started thinking about it, and obviously I had to run it with my family, my wife, and I shared my information with her, and she asked me why. I said, I'm seeing kids. We've been blessed. We're healthy. We live a comfortable life. I believe it's time to do something that we can give back. And with her being a doctor, she fully understood that. And she said, well, I'll support you 100%. And here we are today.
So let's talk about this homeless issue, because that's an issue across the United States.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen so many homeless people in all of my life.
Yes.
What solutions could you put forward as a city council member if you're elected?
Right. So, if I may just brief you with a little bit of a background, during the '80s, during President Reagan administration, and the funding for some of the mental health facilities were cut, and once those doors closed, some of these individuals that needed medical assistance were kind of left out. And by being outside, they were also arrested by our police department for a variety of reasons, and they were taken to jail. After a second administration came in, they said, well, they didn't break a crime, they need help. So they released them from the system, but again, there was no solution. So they were out in the street. Things have changed tremendously. I think at one point, when you heard homeless, it was a transient issue, right? You go city to city. Today, you're actually seeing families that are homeless. You see a mom, dad, husband, wife, and their children that are living in the car. And I'm still waiting. I hear proposals which have no direction, no funding, but no plans. I do have a plan. I think our mayor has been phenomenal and a visionary by setting aside an amount of money for shelters, which is definitely needed. But really, our homeless population are broken down to three different categories, which the first two comprise almost 70% of the issue. And that is individuals that need medical attention due to mental illness. So we have to be able to partner up with our local hospitals and see how we can fix that issue before we can put those individuals in a shelter. Then we have another sector that are addicts, whether it's opioids or other drugs. So we need to partner up with our local rehab centers and make sure they get the proper help. The smaller group that are just falling down on economic hardship, that's an easy fix. Build a shelter, they can go in there, you give them support for 6 months to a year, then slowly but surely they're gonna get on their feet and we move forward. Is these two separate groups that need constant working. And unless we get the support and we partner up with local hospitals and local rehabs, by spending $40 million and just building shelters, it's a Band-Aid that we're putting on a big cut that needs stitches. And in 4 to 5 years, the Band-Aid is gonna fall off. And that same cut now, it's infected. Now we need to have a surgery, which is gonna be even more costlier. The proposals that I've heard of, we build a city and, we'll just put them in it's, to me, it just does not make sense. It's just waste of money. And again, it's a proposal, not a plan, and there's absolutely no funding for it. And these are the things that got me a little bit frustrated, that we don't have visionaries right now and within our city council that can make plans today, but they're seeing the results 4 years from now. And one of the best individuals that I was very honored and I've met was our mayor, Kevin Johnson, who was a true visionary. And we had the arena because of Kevin Johnson and Mayor Steinberg, both phenomenal visionaries. And that's something that's lacking in our city council right now. And that's where I see our problems being, where we are today with the homeless issue.
Economics. Would there be any way you could help to bring in an affordable, a living wage to that area in the parts? I know we have is your district part of Northgate? What's the boundaries?
So yes, so Northgate is the
see that,
yeah.
Northgate. In terms of the El Paso Heights in particular,
Sure.
what plans do you have to revitalize that area as well?
We need there are major issues. First of all, North Sacramento is a wonderful community. Phenomenal people, great neighbors. unfortunately, it's also a community that's always been overlooked or passed to the side or pushed back on the burner because some other project has come, right? Arena is here, so let's all concentrate on that. Which again, it's frustrating because as as a council member, once I get in the office, my first priority is District 2.
Okay.
My second priority would be an arena or a stadium for our professional soccer team that's coming in.
Okay.
So we gotta get our priorities straight. But District 2, we need basic stuff that we've missed. We need infrastructure. We need better street lights. You put more street lights, statistically, and when you talk to the police department, it reduces crime. We need better transportation. We need bus stops that actually have seats and covers, so when you have an 18-year-old that wants to go to Arden Mall and work in 110-degree weather, they're not, tired, sweaty, and by the time they get to work, they just want to go back home,
Yeah.
right? Believe it or not, Arden Mall is part of District 2.
It is?
So, exactly.
I didn't know
So
that.
one of our probably 5th or 6th largest employer in city of Sacramento is part of our district. Yet in this 8 years, I have yet to see a job fair that comes on the El Paso Heights or goes to Grant High School and says, we have these available. And again, that's a disconnect between the leadership and these entities that I know I can change because this is what I do for a living. I work hard, I negotiate, and I make sure I make the best decision that not only benefits the store but also benefits my associates and benefits the community. So to open the doors for economic improvement, we need to have better roads, better lighting, better transportation, inviting businesses to that community so they can hire within the community. And that's how you get the community evolving and moving forward.
So how would you be different from the leadership that we already have at the city council itself? I mean, you be coming from District 2, but
Sure.
what would you do that would be different or innovative? Because your slogan is investment, innovation, and inspiration, which I love those I's.
Right.
But
it's the 3
how-
I's.
Yeah. So how would you,
So
be
the
different?
first thing that I would do is obviously focus on the infrastructure to make sure we have the right streets. We make sure we have the proper streets, bike lanes, proper sidewalks, proper street lights, and also use my own stores as an example that businesses can succeed in these communities because the people will support it. That statistics and just the negative news doesn't really explain what a wonderful community we have. And also be very, very in touch with the local businesses that are there today and make sure they get proper support from their selected council member on a regular basis to make sure they're doing okay. Not to go and be a part of a ribbon cutting and say, great, I've done my job, well, I'm going to go in my office, good luck to you. And that's what we're seeing right now, that things are not followed through to see what the problems are so we can fix it, so we can encourage other businesses to come in.
Okay. Education. So Twin Rivers is a part of that district, correct?
Absolutely.
So I understand there may be some school closures?
Which again, it's horrible, isn't it? We have a board of trustee, we have city officials, and today we're talking about school closure versus going back 3, 4, 5 years ago to see what the problem is so we can fix those problems so it doesn't lead to this issue that we're in today. District 2 is growing. We're seeing houses that are going up, brand new houses that are going up, so more people are moving in. But at the same time, we're thinking about closing schools. When you don't have a vision and a plan, this is what we run into. These schools that were on the list of closing, it's the responsibility of the council, it's the responsibility of the board of trustees within the school to see what the issues are 4 years ago. So today, it would not even be a topic because we knew what the issues are, we fixed them, we're on the right path now. But when we don't follow through, when we don't see what the issues are, by the time it hits on the 11th hour, we want to talk about it. We want to go to the school board meeting and see what, how we can help the situation. And that's my biggest problem. That by being engaged and involved as the next city council member, those are reports that I want to see on weekly basis to see how the schools are doing. It's my intention to meet with every principal within that district once a month to see what else I can do outside the school, because this inside the school they have their own body of government. But on outside, what can I do to help the situation? One of the things that I'm gonna do once I'm in the office, I want to have field trips twice a year with the sophomore class at Grand High School, because I think it's a phenomenal school. You have some great kids.
They have roots in
that are attending that school, and it bothers me that we don't take care of them. It bothers me that we don't have after-school program for them, right? And we only start talking about it when it's election time, and it just fizzles out. So one of the things that I want to do is, we all know that our sophomore year in high school is the most important year where the colleges are looking at your grades. So I want to set up 2 separate field trips on 2 separate dates. We're working with Grand High School principal, where we get the lower 10% grade-wise students and the top 2% high school students. We're going to put them on a bus, and we're going to take a field trip to either UC Berkeley, UC Davis, Stanford, and let both groups interact and let both groups see and feel that energy that when you walk into a university, it automatically feeds you. And with the hope that the ones that are at the bottom of that 10%, when we come back, there's an inspiration that there is something better. If I continue my studying, there are other outlets that I can get, that I can have more opportunities. None of that is happening, and that's my frustration today. So that's one of the things I want to do. I'm very supportive of our teachers. I think they're overworked, underpaid, and we need to support them and see what's missing. If Grant High School is not getting their supplies on time, then we need to know, as a community and as a leader of the community and an elected official of the community, I need answers. Why is it that it's getting delayed? What's the problem? So all of this can only happen when you have a continuous interaction with the local schools, the principals and teachers, to make sure you can solve problems right there and then, versus kind of letting it go and then 5 years later finding out, oops, we got to close down the school.
So, in terms of the education, which is really a big one, how can the community help you do that? Because like, you're going in there, I mean, if you are elected, very powerful position to have in the city.
Sure.
But if your people are not backing you up, it's kind of like an uphill battle. How can people help you once you get there? So I think that's the question we don't ask people.
Right. So another great thing about District 2 is that there are neighborhood associations. And when I'm the council member, I'm going to make it a mandatory that I will meet with the presidents of these associations once a month. It should be a mandatory, because their feet is on the ground, so they're hearing it. By meeting them and asking them that on every meeting, bring 3 topics that needs to be discussed and we need help on, and give me the 30 days till next meeting so I can have some answers for you.
Okay.
So that's how I think you can get the community behind you. Again, I'd be very surprised from anybody that lives in that community, that if we want to push our future to make sure they have a better future and a stronger future, I find it hard to believe that anybody's going to argue or fight that. But at the same time, we have to be very realistic. I have students that are associates in my operations, and I always tell them, I said, you know, you watch an Oscar show and somebody wins an Oscar, and the first thing that they say is, follow your dream. And if you sit back and you think about that, I don't say follow your dream, I say follow opportunity. That's what you gotta follow. My dream was to become a singer. The opportunity was to become a business owner. So that's where we gotta teach our next generation, follow opportunity. We know that some people are school driven and they're very good at it. They're smart. Some people are not school driven. They're equally smart, but they're just not school material. I'll give you a perfect example. Bill Gates, not school material. Steve Jobs, not school material. Jeff Bezos, not school material. But they saw an opportunity, they followed. Well, with our youth, especially in District 2, today you can actually go to college, graduate in 4 years, come out with a minimum of $30,000 to $40,000 worth of student loans at 8% interest, right? So if you kind of do that to say, well, I'm just going to go to college, you're coming out with that kind of money only. Versus if you're really not enjoying school, but you're good with your hands and you're skilled, you can go and get trained and become an apprentice while working, making money. And in 4 years, you're going to be averaging $50,000 to $60,000 income with zero loan as an electrician, as a plumber, as a framer. And that's something that I think we're lacking on sharing that information with our youth, to say there are other alternatives. It's not just school. If you don't enjoy class, you have to graduate high school. But if it's not your cup of tea, here's other opportunities that will work out great for you. And once you get it, you can come back to the community and actually live in the community and invest your money in the same community.
Okay, so the last couple of years it's been pretty hot on city council around the police.
Sure.
How would you help to make that relationship better?
Right,
We
so
know we need police. I'm just gonna be honest. I know we need police because you have to have law and order. Like I don't know how else you would get it.
absolutely. At the end of the day, if you and I were sitting here and we feel like something's going on out there, we both jump and dial 911.
Right.
So these are facts.
That's right.
Again, I think because of lack of leadership these past years, have there been national issues? Absolutely. Do I agree with them? Absolutely not. We need to fix. But to encourage a gap between the police department and the community, that's not going to fix our situation. I believe that as the next council member, again, one of the things that on my agenda is to close that gap. How do you close that gap? By bringing the community to the table, by bringing the department to the table, and have a communication. See what's wrong. Hear from the community, hear from the department. Being a council member, I have to be in that meeting. So then I can say, well, this I can take care of for the community. Police department, I'm going to give you these resources so you can handle this, so we can close these gaps. Once we close the gap, I believe that some of these big issues that have made national news will reduce simultaneously. And to close these gaps is really to bring down these barriers, right? So one of the things that I want to do, right a week before school starts, whether it's at Grant High School or Norwood Junior High, I want to bring the police departments, their first responders, and line everybody up. Bring the city, police department helicopter, have them land, and invite the whole community. Let them come and interact with these individuals. Let our teenagers or let the kids see that, they're human beings also. That not every police officer is a bad apple. There's some marvelous police officers that are out there. But just like with any other organization, you have a bad apple regardless, and you cannot pass judgment based on one individual. But there is a gap, and that gap needs to close down. And it's a shame that in the last 8 years nothing has been done to close the gap.
What are your thoughts on the saturation, as some people say, of the cannabis dispensaries?
Oh my God, you're asking everything that I'm very passionate about. Just to share some information with you.
Okay.
We have over 300,000 square feet of cannabis cultivation in District 2.
Say that number again?
Over 300,000
Wow.
square feet. So let me put that in perspective for you. That is, if you take about 4 super Walmarts or Targets and connect them together,
Wow.
okay?
That's a lot.
And these have been approved and active. There are more licenses that have been applied for that are down in the pipeline. I have a major issue with that. But in a different perspective. Number one, in the state of California, it's illegal, so we have to respect that. It is a business, permits are issued, licenses are issued, these business owners are paying for the fees, so everything is being done legally. However, as a council member, I would have negotiated with the city, saying if my district is about to have over 300,000 square feet of cultivation, this is the list of my demands for my district. I want lights, I want after school programs, I want a learning center, I want better streets, I want better stop time, and on top of that, the revenue that these cultivators are bringing to the city, which is supposedly going to a general fund, I want to make sure an additional 20% comes back to this district on top of what belongs to this district. But none of that took place. So none of that has taken place. Today I've asked, how much revenue did we bring in? The answer is we don't know. I heard someone within the city at a very high-ranking individual that told me we made about $250,000. And so I took a step back and I said, this is a multi-million-dollar industry, and we made $250,000. So again, proposals were made, but without vision or plans. When you don't have vision and plans, and I don't know if you know this or not, but City of Sacramento is actually being investigated by the FBI, because when you have one person that is connected to 8 licenses on a lottery system, when you have individuals who have been terminated from the city for wrongdoings, that means, again, the council didn't do their job of doing the checks and balances.
Whoa, wait a minute. So you saying that the FBI is investigating?
Absolutely, it's all over the news.
Okay, but then you said something about somebody with licenses being on a lottery system.
So, City of Sacramento created a lottery system. So if I wanted to get a license, I would fill out an application, pay the fees, my name would go into a box,
Okay.
and they would select from that box. So if Sean's name came up, I would get the license, but if Sean applied for another license, they would take my name out because I got my license already.
Got you. Okay.
However, we have one individual, not a resident of Sacramento, not a resident of D2, not a resident of United States, that has 8 licenses connected to him.
So how do you get a license? Do someone have to, is
So-
there somebody downstairs doing the paperwork, or is that you have to?
So the proper way of doing it, you go in, they give you an application, you fill it out, you pay the fees, you submit it, and you wait. This particular individual, I guess he knew certain people that were able to do special favors for him.
Ooh, that just sounds criminal. But you're not supposed to do that.
Right. So, and this is what happens when
Okay.
when you say we want cannabis, but there's no vision behind it. You're not thinking about what's going to happen a year from now. You're just excited about today,
Got you.
right? So when you get excited about today, when you don't have checks and balance system right in there, when as a council member or the city council members, if you're not checking to see if everything is going on a regular basis, then you're not doing your job, because you're elected to follow these things and make sure that everything is done properly. Again, I am not against cannabis. It's a legitimate business, but we have to make sure, just like any other business, that they get audited. As far as dispensaries goes, I think we have the second highest amount of dispensaries in the city. And again, that kind of concerns me. We have high crime, low graduating rate from our school, and we want to open up dispensaries. I heard that they want to put a dispensary on Del Paso Boulevard, which I am 100% against. Del Paso Boulevard is supposed to be a family outing where everybody goes to have a great time. I don't know who would even allow themselves to think it would not be a bad idea to put a dispensary in.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's Main Street, as they call it in the United States. You don't bring certain things to Main Street. And that's one of them.
And to me, Del Paso Boulevard has so much potential. You have some businesses, their Shift Coffee, if you want the best coffee in the city, they're having a phenomenal couple that owns a business. So you have all these small businesses that are there, but we have to support them. As the leader of the community, as the next council member, that is my job, to make sure that everybody knows about these businesses. We have to support them so we can open up more businesses rather than having them close down on that boulevard.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm sharing right now in the comments is where they can find you on Facebook. But do you have anything else in terms of where they could, like, phone number to your campaign headquarters, anything you want to share so people can reach out to you?
Absolutely. I think you have my phone number is on that. It's 916, yes.
916.
320-1857.
Okay.
Right?
Yep, got it.
Thanks.
No, you're good. So if you wanted to come support his campaign, find out more information about him, you should contact him.
Oh, please contact me.
What I love about being in California, particularly Sacramento, because I really am an East Coast. I've been out here for like 30-something years. So people are like, girl, you ain't really from the East Coast. But you could touch people here. Like if somebody's running for office, I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm from a big city. If somebody's running for office, you still wouldn't be able to sit down and talk with them and call them and say, hey, you could do that in Sacramento.
So I tell you something. I'm one of those guys. I'm not a sitting behind a desk type of person. That's not my personality. When I open my stores, I'm a guy that my day starts at 4:30 and it ends around 8-9 o'clock at night. I know my associates, we're on first name basis. Majority of my customers, when we see each other, we hug it out, And that's what I want to bring as the next council member to that community, that I will be available to the community. Not that my assistant is going to be available, or you send me an email that I will never see, or you call an office that I never get the message. I want to be able to see you. So I want to be on the ground. And when there's a council meeting, I'll be in that meeting, but the very next day, I want to be right there walking in District 2 so I can hear people and they're free to come and talk to me about their issues.
Right on. So as we wrap up, I shared your phone number, your email, and your website, and your Facebook page.
Yes.
So what I want to do, this camera's going to be directly on you. I want you to talk to the community and tell them why you're the best person for this job.
First of all, again, thank you so much for this opportunity and giving me this platform. I believe I am the next council person for our district because I'm very passionate about our district. I'm not running for a title. I don't need it. I'm running because I'm frustrated. I have the business experience, I have a negotiation experience that can help our district tremendously. I'm all about our youth, I'm all about businesses, and I'm all about growth, but proper growth. We need our infrastructures to be complete and fixed. In the last 8 years, we haven't seen any of that. If we take a picture of any main intersections today, and you look at archives 8 years ago, there has been absolutely no changes. We had more businesses closing down on the El Paso Boulevard today than we did 8 years ago. I believe in this community, and I'm passionate about making the changes that is exclusively going to benefit the community. I'm running so I can do for you. I'm not running to see what I can do that's going to be good for me. And I hope on March 3rd, I have your support, and I'll get into the office and I'll make sure I acknowledge all the promises that I've made. With that, I'm very also proud to say that in the last few weeks, myself and some of the youngsters that are teaming up with me, we've actually walked and knocked on 2,500 houses.
Wow.
And I'm very blessed and very grateful that I've gotten 100% feedback that they're looking for a change. And based on what they have seen that I've brought to the community on my businesses, they think I'm the right person. So again, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Right on. Thank you, Mr. Sean Lolo E.
Thank you.
I had to work on that. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
And I look forward to talking with you again, because I feel like the way whoever's running for office, I think sometimes it's not about the endorsements.
Mhm.
I think it's about talking directly to the people.
Absolutely. Because you're running for the people.
Yeah.
So
some people think they're running for endorsements, though.
And no, actually, I'll be quite frank with you. I haven't looked for any endorsements.
Okay.
Because again, I'm very passionate about this. It's bothering me that how our community it's overlooked. Arena was built, which I'm very proud and very grateful to Kevin Johnson and Mayor Steinberg. It was their vision and their hard work, even though some other people are trying to get some credit for that. But now we got a stadium that's coming in, which it's again a very phenomenal thing that's happening to our city. But we cannot push D2 or District 2 to the side because we got a new stadium, or the budget needs to be set for that. No, we need our budget for our District 2, and they need to figure out the budget for that stadium. We can't combine the two.
Right on.
So,
No,
thank you very much.
Thank you, family. Thank you so much for joining us at Earth Mama Live. And I look forward to more interviews, and I'll see you tomorrow with Minister Imhotep. Peace and blessings.